Hello, and welcome back to the Son of the Morning Comics channel. Gonna do another review here today. What we're gonna be doing a review of is Doctor Tommorow number 2 from Valiant. Now, before I get into that, I did a review of the first one, and full disclosure, I even said so during that video. I didn't know that Doctor Tommorow was a character. I'm new to Valiant comics, so I didn't know. What can I say? At any rate, I didn't know that it was a real character, but the book did a good job of explaining the character, especially because it was being passed off to a new character who was the same character from a different universe. At any rate, after I read it, I don't want to say that there was something that was bothering me, but there was something that stuck out in my mind that I kept thinking about, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And it wasn't until I read issue number 2, I think I was about maybe halfway or 2/3 of the way through, when I realized that thought that I had in my head from when I read the first issue was that if I was like 7 or 8 or 9, 10 years old, something like that, I think I would absolutely love this story. I think it would be the perfect sort of story if you had never really gotten into comics and you wanted to read something new and something that's nice and easy to understand that has a young superhero in it. I think it would be a great way to start. So, I mean, if you have a kid who wants to get into comics and you're trying to find something, this might be a good idea, something like this. I mean, obviously there's going to be the popular characters out there like Spider-Man, but it would be, if you, let's say your child decided after watching a Spider-Man movie that they thought they wanted to get into Spider-Man comics, and you take them down to your local comic shop because okay, if they like Spider-Man, let's get them some Spider-Man. And then you walk into the comic shop and you look for the Spider-Man comics, and you're hit with, like, I don't know how many actual titles there are for Spider-Man right now, but there's got to be at least 10 to 14 would be my guess. So where would you even start for something like that? So that's why I said, like, it was something was in my mind about this, and I realized it while reading this issue that this is it's a great book for kids, and I think I would have loved it as a kid, and I think that kids today would love it. Okay, so the comic starts with the two Bart Sims, the two Doctor Tommorows, the young one from our normal world and the older one from a different universe. And basically how this comic starts out is the older Bart is teaching the younger Bart how to use his suit, how to use the powers of the suit. At first it's not working. You can see he's falling down, but he's constantly being reassured, just let the suit guide you, be intuitive, everything's gonna be okay. Like I said, this is some good stuff, some excellent stuff for kids. I think that the art would be appealing to young kids as well. So he's learning how to use his powers, and what young Bart isn't informed about by old Bart is that this is a mission, and there is some work to do, and that's going to have to start with them revealing themselves. So what they do is they fly into the middle of a crowded stadium in the middle of a baseball game. So Dr. Tommorow lands in the stadium and announces, his presence and that he's here to save the universe, and that the reason why he has to do this is there's a guy named Ivar, or he thinks there's a guy named Ivar that is like the time master or something like that, and there's going to be a conflict between them, and it needs to happen for him to save the universe. And very quickly, the people that he's worried, or that he knows he's going to attract, show up. We got a big strong guy here, and an old baseball manager here, but looks can be deceiving, of course. So here you see Dr. Tommorow giving a good shot to the bigger guy, and knocking him right down there. The old baseball manager, though, doesn't seem too worried about the whole situation here. As you can see, he's not any regular baseball manager. He is the foe. Dr. Tommorow calling him a murderer. Of course, he thinks he's going to try to destroy the universe. He recognizes who he's dealing with already. Obviously, he knows that this is Doctor Tommorow, and there's some interesting dialogue here as well. Dr. Tommorow saying, "Don't listen to her, Bart. She's a robot assassin from the future." And then he comments, "She?" And then, as we said, looks can be deceiving. So the older Dr. Tommorow had realized that this was the person that he needed to find, sort of, and he could see through this disguise and knew that it was a woman. So now things sort of calm down a little bit here, everybody, cooler heads prevail for a moment or two. And so the older Dr. Tommorow is, pleading with the robot baseball manager that's a woman in hiding that, let the young Dr. Tommorow go. They start talking. He wants to know where Time Walker He wants to know where the Time Walker is. This person here says they are the Time Walker. It's not. Of course, the Time Walker is now dead. But this person was the Time Walker's lover. So she has taken over the reins of whatever it was that he needed to do, and she had full access to his lab and stuff like that. And so then, like I said, cooler heads start to prevail. They head back to the lab where she does her Time Walker stuff in Stanford, California. And once they're back in their lab, they take off their cloaking devices. And this is, of course, the Time Walker. And this is the big strong dude. And the big strong dude's name is Ank. But it, like I said, looks can be deceiving. And we flip the page here. Then everybody basically makes up here, and Dr. Tommorow shows them the multiverse and where he comes from, and explains the differences of the universes within the multiverse, and so on and so on. And he goes on to tell about Dr. Tommorow goes on to tell about when he was doing his in school, and he was the mentor of Hadrian, the bad guy, that they were working on this dark fluid, this negative mass. It was some kind of fuel. It was not a stable thing, but this Hadrian wouldn't give up, and unfortunately, when they were doing their experiment, they tore a hole in the universe, and that's sort of how they learned how to that's how they first learned that you could go from universe to universe. But this suit here is an invention that allows for a very specific jump to be done from universe to universe. So as he's figured out how to, safely do his little jumps from universe to universe, he knows that Hadrian is out there destroying universes one by one within the multiverse, and he's got to do what he can to stop them. But whatever may be the case, Doctor Tommorow knows that young Bart is the key to the whole plan, the whole way he's going to save the universe, because he feels that he needs to stop Hadrian here and now, and that young Bart is the answer to that. So he wants him to go home and just stay there, so nobody can get at him. So here we see in Long Island, we have Hadrian, who is back to his old ways, making that negative energy that really messes stuff up. And he's got a sidekick. I don't know if she's a willing sidekick, but there's a sidekick nonetheless. Over here, we have back over in Berkeley, California, young Bart is getting a little upset as he gets home. He sneaks in the back, window, and there's a letter from his father saying that he's had to go out of town and he'll be back tomorrow, which sort of was something brought up in the first issue, that he doesn't really have a relationship with his father since his mother died, and his father, he was out being pretty much a superhero all day, and his father didn't even notice. He gets very upset about that, obviously. And so he's just lying around because that's what he was told to do. And then his friend from the first issue, his baseball friend from the team, comes to ask him if he's going to play the game. He says he can't because, he's a superhero now. He's got to wait, and he's got to play the waiting game. She takes this very seriously, but he is looking at it more like he's doing what he was told. He really does believe the universe is in the balance. Okay, so so she gets upset, and so she says she's gonna tell the coach that she couldn't make it. But as duty happens to call, look who shows up. Dr. Tommorow shows up and tells them it's time for them to head out. Time for them to be heroes. They head out. Dr. Tommorow goes. I'm new to Valiant, so I don't really know they're superheroes. I assume this is a bunch of them over here in Long Island, and you see Dr. Tommorow and little Dr. Tommorow arriving, and then basically announcing the problems that are to come, and that the issue is Hadrian, and then Hadrian. And so Hadrian comes out to Doctor Tommorow and little Doctor Tommorow and their crew, and he basically lets them know that they're done for. And he said he notices that there's clearly two of them. Basically said, you tried, but you're pretty much too late. You got a few minutes. And then got a really, actually, I really like that really cool little. I wish I knew who all of these people were. I feel bad about that. Like I said, I'm new to Valiant. I don't know, but I like it. Doctor Tommorow says, "You heard the man. The universe has minutes to live." Other Doctor Tommorow says, "Unless we stop him." Says, "Right, Bart." That was implied. So I guess there's 5 minutes left till the world ends, so our universe ends. So then we have, I guess, the little preview there of issue number 3. Like I said, I just really think that this is a really good read for younger kids. I think this is a good story for young kids. I think that if I was a young kid going to the store, this would be something that would really appeal to me. It was a good story, and we'll see how the story progresses. Hopefully we can keep getting our hands on the things, but we don't know. It's hard to say, right? It's hard to say, but anyway, thanks for joining me on the Son of the Morning Comics channel. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, leave some comments if you want. You can also reach me over at Son of the Morning 7 on Twitter. And have yourself a wonderful morning, noon, evening, night, whatever time of the day it is for you right now.